viewers. This is again the importance of a GRSS chapter newsletter. I am talking on the various how we started and what went in our mind, what should be the content so that the society on its own grows through your newsletter. Of course, there's a newsletter at international level from GRSS, but there's also importance of local chapter newsletter. So I'll just bring out those highlights of that and what are the content of newsletter we should have and how the newsletter should be communicated with the people. So chapter was established in 2013 with when Professor Borner, Professor Kalam Sarabandi, and were attending a conference which is called IC Mars 2012, and in which three persons, myself, Professor Kalla and Professor Animesh Mitra were also present, and we three were identified to start a chapter at our own location. So in 2013, we had 4 chapters, Gujarat, Delhi, Kolkata, and Bangalore. And the chapter petition was filed and it was approved in 2013. As soon as chapter petition was approved, our goal was that what activities we should have and what are the chances that we should be able to spread the chapter. One is among the various colleges, how we should do it. Various things were discussed at length with our all members. And what came out that the one important thing is newsletter and the website. These two were given very high weight for doing the activities in our chapter. And chapter first thing is that starting a newsletter, first thing is you should have a very good team. And I had fortunately a very good team with so many professionals and knowledgeable professionals, with the editorial team, which consists of Dr. Abhijit Sarkar, very experienced editor, and Manisha, the co-editor, and many members of that team. And they were all together making a first newsletter in 2013. And the content we discussed all together so that it should have a mix of technical input, then the society newsletter and the relevant importance of the GRSS societies. All these things went into the discussion. And since then, we are producing the newsletter every year. And we have come out up to 2019, that means about 7 newsletters every year. And 2020 will be starting by the end of this year. So what are the content of one of the newsletter I am discussing? It should have as usual, the message from editor and from chairman, and chapter's accomplishment is important because what chapter has achieved over the year should be coming out very clearly. Event report, what we are doing, it should be reflected in a way that one need not to read the total content or text if he is not having time. We will just seeing the photograph and other things, one should be able to make it. Then glimpses of space agency. Presently, we are considering only ISRO because other agencies are covered by our main newsletter from IEEE GRSS. An interview with leaders is important because it gives a view of the society and the technical aspect of the current work which is taking up in the world and in India. So all those things are considered in the interview. A important thing is one of the article should be there, which should be highly technical. At the same time, it should be able to communicate the application of technology in a common way. So that is we are doing every time in the newsletter. And of course, members there, what has happened, update. Feedback is important for any newsletter so that we update and improve our newsletter and what future events are part of this total content. And this year, 2019, was Dr. Nand Kumar, who is also a very good having editing experience for years together, along with Manisha Gupta and Anup Das, Bindi Shastri, and Suchit, who are um, outstanding members from our chapter, contributing a lot. Now, the event, what we should report is important in a way that it should not only have the content, what has been done, it should be reflected in the picture itself. Suppose one is not having time to read the content, he can just view that, okay, the speaker is being introduced, giving lectures, a memento of love from the society, and a large number of people attending. That's important. That's a bring out that if we book any hall, this is always full, and people will be, you will find many times sitting on the floor also. Same thing happened. You can see in this lecture where it's a bigger hall, but again people are sitting in front row on the row. So it reflects that slowly our chapter is getting uh, acknowledged by many people by seeing the highly technical common for common people. Also we put a lectures of popular lectures from dignitaries like director of physical research laboratory on the lunar mission of what happened after. So you can see many young graduates, about 200 people. So it does two jobs. One is society is reflected among these community. At the same time, knowledge is shared among these communities and youngsters. So we are doing all these things since 2013. Many lectures have taken place, and 1819 also. So this activity continues and being reflected properly in the newsletter. Next is important thing is the training program or conference or workshop. All these things are important for the society to grow because it brings out professionals at a common platform where they can learn their knowledge, improve their knowledge. At the same time, they can share their knowledge. So we are doing this activity this year, 2019. We conducted this training workshop, initially planned for 35 people, but went up to 70 persons in a single day. And it was really marvelous and to have such kind of training program in our country. And you can see the so many participants were there, though initially planned for 35 people. So reflects on the one of the new area where we intend to put our legs, which society has not done till now, is to enter with the industry some way or other. For them, we organize this joint symposium with them and to bring out what we can do together. But the society at the moment is very low in the way that how we should go ahead in this direction has to be discussed in a larger platform. This was just a small platform where we made the group and we tried to see what can be done. If people sitting on the table, one table, what they can work together for about a year and come out with some uh, kind of, you can say, the result which has been done jointly with industry as well as academia. So every year we do this kind of thing, maybe international level or local or regional level. So when we started 2013 itself, we did a one international expert meet on micro remote sensing. And you can see that initially we had this international meeting with Professor Borner and others dignitaries on the space. And then we had a training program on micro remote sensing. Like this, we continue to do many activities. And you can see the enthusiastic participant attending hands-on or anywhere in the on the registration desk. Everywhere you will find the way they are trying to uh, grow the society by attending this kind of conference. So 17 also, we did 4 and 18. So on an average, 3 to 4 conference, not only at India level, but international level. This is a SMAP workshop. The team from NASA SMAP and ISRO, they together work for this SMAP training program, which was under NISR project team. So like this, society start getting benefit. At the same time, professionals working, researcher working in that region, that area, they also getting benefit. Other important issue, as I said, should have a interview column. Interview column doesn't mean that you just take anything. You have to read what is the contribution of the with whom we interview and what are the sort of questions. Question relate to international scenario, domestic scenario and the scenario in the field in which a interviewer is working. So all these things together makes a question of 7, 8, a list of 7, 8 questions which we communicate with the interviewer and try to get answers which are really, if you look at it, gives sense of understanding what is happening all about the globe in that field. So we had such kind of interview with a number of speaker whosoever visits our country, like Professor Borner, then Dr. Paul Logan, then Lorenzo. We had Akira Hirose, Simon, and recently the Kelly Rowe. So this gives lot of input, lot of understanding about the subject, about the scenario, what is happening all around the globe, and how it is impacting our country. As I said, one of the thing is the this should not only look like a newsletter, the news item. It should give a technical thought, technical ideas, and a simple language on various topics in which experts are available within our own country. So we request many experts to give some article which may be very thorough and should also reflect a simple approach in doing the test. So this is one of the article in recently by Dr. Anup Das from ISRO. Like this, we have done the every year some article from various expert in that field, and we have done including the expert in education, geospatial educations, which is important for our research community and student community, how it is happening, what is the lessons and how to go ahead. So one of the important things recently started by the chapter was the chapter. It means among various chapters in the world. So we had a collaborative work with the Japan, India, and Indonesia. India here it means only our Gujarat chapter, and we are conducting activities like that. This is a international Sarcoidometry workshop in which presentation were done from in one of the session by Indonesia, Japan, and Indian presenters in this forum. And similarly, similar thing were done in 2018, which was a big hit in Indonesia, where a lot of people participated in a symposium which was organized by JAPNet along with Indonesia, and a very highly required tutorials where a large number of students participated in this kind of tutorial on which was done by Japan and Indian presenters. So this activity we have done recently on the booth activity where the visitors can come and see what is happening, because many still have to be knowledgeable enough to know what the society is doing. So this is one of the best way to spread the information about the society, its chapter at national level and international. So this is our first time in 2019 we did this activity. This is our co-chairman Dr. Narayan and Dr. Paul Logan, who is the global director of GRSS. He happened to be here. So Gujarat chapter has done a lot in terms of newsletter because it got attention of the GRSS leadership. So Dr. Manisha Gupta was invited to present the GRSS newsletter itself in the chapters meet. So she was there for presenting the Gujarat chapter newsletter, and which was 2018 up to 18, she presented everything. So we also have advantage of Dr. Paul Reason visiting us as a as a scientist of NISR. He keeps on coming India. So we try to see that our Indian chair meets should happen in his presence. So we have a good link with GRSS by dismay. And every time he is here in all our meet. At the same time, we try to see how our society can collaborate with other societies. So this is one of the meet of that kind. So we are meeting as a member also in the every year, and you can see very small number to very large number now we have the society, and this is one of the important things which has attracted these members is the spread of our activity through newsletter, which is becoming one of the important tool in this matter. So other is the ISRO's activity. As I said, ISRO is one of our prime agency which delivers a lot of payloads for various applications and a lot of science work happens. So we try to summarize, and one of our colleague, Dr. Sivaraman, he does that job for us, though he's not member of the society, but of course he likes to work for our society. So we are thankful to him for this activity. So we are also trying to put in the list a members' achievement, what they have achieved, whether they got promotion or they got something PhD degree or they've got some new job anywhere. So that's all we are trying to put in our members' achievement column. So members are also spreading their own way how they are working in various in the country. So as I said, feedback becomes one of the important aspect of the newsletter, and it should reflect all the activities in a very small 8 to 10 to 18 to 20 pages, and we can see that all from the globe, PRL, Professor PRL, then Long, and everybody is giving us this is region 10, Deepak Mathur, and from ISRO we have PRL, ISRO, and wherever IITs and all across the globe. So we have good feedback from various community leaders as well as out of community leaders, who those who are not members, because it goes to everybody involved in this activity, including India. So our newsletter we send through email, through social media, and through our GRSS website, which was established in 2030, and one can download any newsletter from this website, and we have started from 2013 to any of these newsletter is available to public for their use. So this year 2020 will have a little more pages because the NGARS is going to be one of the important activity of the chapter. So we are in fact leading in that. So we having little more pages of the NGARS in 2020 newsletter. So what is the impact is important, because it's not only doing, we should see the what it has reflected to the chapter. So one is increase the number of chapters in the country. We started from 4 chapters, now it has become 8 chapters, and we started with members something around 10, 12, now we reach to about 370 or so, little more. Then other important thing is through chapters, we are able to see the membership should sustain, because that is a very big challenge to the leaders in GRSS, because you have to have those who have become member, they should sustain. So our newsletter helps in a way, indirectly, even if they are not able to connect it physically, but they are able to connect through newsletter. Then it enhances the visibility of news society, which was unknown in our country for a large section of the society, not all, but large section. Then acceptability of society is a very advanced, because we do the advanced level courses. So it is becoming very acceptable. Once we say that we are conducting, if we put a requirement of 50%, you will get 100 applications. That kind of scenario is become now, not earlier. Then acceptability of society in providing support what is required. We don't give more support, we don't give less. what exactly is required in the for the society to run, to sustain, and to slowly improve its impact in the country. So as I said, it has made a lot of impact. We have now in the country about 372 members, and we started with 4. Now we have 8 chapters with 3 student branches overall in the country. So it's keep on growing, and obviously it's an effort not only me, it's total society of Indian leadership, which is playing important role in spreading the uh, about GRSS, its strength in the country. So with this, I thank you all for listening and careful listening. And obviously, if some questions is there, I am available for that of few questions. Over to you, Mark.
Okay, so Siv, thanks a lot for this very nice overview on the initiative that you have been running since 2013. So it's really excellent. So I would like to remind the participants that if you would like to ask a question, then you can just unmute yourself and ask your question, or like you can type your question in the chat. I have a curiosity, which is related to how do you diffuse the newsletter. So you mentioned that you are like sending the newsletter and advertising it through social media. Is there any particular scheme that you are following? So do you send it by email also to members, or you just post it on social media and like the followers that you have will be will know about the publication of a newsletter?
Yeah, this newsletter, one way is that whosoever are in our mailing list, mostly all GRSS members of India and GRS members, not all across the globe, but many across the globe, maybe 100 or so, who are representing GRSS. And in country, we send to more or less all. And to our Gujarat chapter, we have our own group in which we just put it there. And in addition, yeah, social media, of course, we are putting on Facebook and LinkedIn. Those who want to see it, they can see from there. That issue of with the news that GRSS Gujarat chapter has released its newsletter of 2018 with highlights. Go to so and so location. That way we try to give it. But India, we are sending to about 300 people minimum. And all education institutes which are not covered by GRSS, we are focusing now on that also. Industry, and that is our next, that how to enhance our presence in those where we are not there.
Okay, I see. And by the way, if you need any help from IEEE, there are some tools like a list serve and e-notice that can be
Okay,
useful for sending newsletters or emails or like announcements to
okay.
members. So
Okay,
this
we
could
will
be
certainly use. In fact, I have sent this to all every time to chapter coordinator like you, this newsletter, so that it can be sent to wherever one feels that all chapters should receive, then they can send it. But we can use the tool also, what you have suggested just now, so that we use it maximally and distribute to those also who have not received till now.
and if you have to give an advice to other chapter officers and chapter chairs for setting up a newsletter like the one from Gujarat, so what would you say? Is there any particular key point that should be done, or to not forget to do something, or like well, any advice on this?
Yes, my third slide, if you look it, is important in terms of what it should have, what content it should have, we should not forget. It should not be just like a newspaper kind of thing. It should have technical article as well. It should have information future past on the current theme. It should have the all the technical activities, whatever accomplishment I can say. In a way, suppose a person he doesn't have time to read, he can just quickly understand from the photograph and the title of that. Everything should be so self-speaking kind of illustration. You can say self-speaking order, so self-speaking language. That means one need not to read total text. One should read only article title and the photograph. It should tell everything. Then one should keep all the things required for that means in your local region. And what I felt that what I have listed here all are important for any region. If I go to from India to Europe to US, all these activities are important. Secondly, they should have certainly a newsletter because the current chair will not remain all the time. So if you have to dig the past of that chapter, you can directly go through newsletter and find out what has happened last 7 years or 8 years. For example, in this presentation, I don't have anything with me. I just used those 7 newsletter. I listed that how many interview we have taken, how many lectures were invited, and all those things, whatever is part of this presentation has come only from newsletter. Otherwise, independently you ask and you don't get the information. That's the reason that chapter should certainly go for a newsletter, and it reflects. For example, our chapter, Gujarat chapter, you have selected out of 82 because we are communicating through newsletter. I've never talked to you, never communicated with you. So this newsletter has communicated about me, what is different of Gujarat chapter from others. So that's how a chapters get attention from central leadership, local leadership, and regional leadership. So they should certainly go for this kind of thing. Anything which the other chapters are doing, so chapter can look, okay, we are missing this component. We should also do. So it has to grow the all together in the globe.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, definitely this is a very unique feature, and as I mentioned, it's an excellent initiative that you have been like supporting through those years. So I don't know if there are any questions from the participants. So it seems that everyone is fine. So I would like to then we can close this webinar. So I would like to thank you, Shiv, again for this nice presentation. I'd like to thank all the participants, and sorry about these technical issues that we had before. And so I'd like to invite you to attend the next webinar that will be done in from the Chinese chapters in about 2-3 weeks from now. So announcements will follow. So thanks a lot for joining.
Okay.
And see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.